Bang, boom, all right. Kenman here. Today, it's definitely a maintenance unboxing. I got a couple things I opened up on a live stream. We're going to look at them today, check them out, maybe a little test drive. Let's get right into it. It's a double feature for the maintenance slash sharpening stones. As I said, I opened up both of these on my live stream already, so we've kind of looked at them a little bit. Have not used either of them. Here we are, the official unboxing. Let's go through both of them real quick. I have right here a Beavercraft leather paddle strap. Check it out. Subscribe and get free tips and tricks. Made in Ukraine, beavercrafttools.com. I don't know how awesome or bad this leather strap is. I saw it. I decided to go ahead and throw the cash down, pick it up. Let's get in here. We got the magic, not so great green stuff. And a little info card. Learn how to make all your tools razor sharp. Beavercraft. How to use polishing compounds. That's what we're going to need, is to get a better polishing compound. That green stuff everyone kind of knows is kind of the base. Gets thrown in, not really the greatest. There's some others. What compounds do you use? What should I look at? Comment below. Let's discuss it. Box on the floor. We have the Beavercraft leather paddle strap. Here it is. Nice large strap. This thing is beastly. So we have a smooth piece of leather on that side, a little bit more of the rough piece on there. Nice piece of wood, Beavercraft stamp on there. Good old handle. Solid stuff. Anybody have one of these? Which strap do you have? Tell us about it. Why do you like it? Why do you hate it? We will find out if this is any good or not, but we'll do some testing. There it is. I don't have much else to say about it other than a nice little slice of wood there. Couple pieces of leather. Feels like it's strapped down good, glued on there. None of the edges are rolling up. I'm not seeing any flaws or any problems. Feels good in the hand. We'll test it out. Looks like you got a little ring there for hanging it up or whatever. But yeah, we've got that. The Beavercraft strap. We'll set that aside. The main feature of the day, the Sharpal dual grit diamond stone. So we've got a coarse side and a fine side. This is an 8x3 stone, 200 by 75 millimeters for the millimeters people. Coarse and extra fine. Excuse me. I'm going to go through this on the box. It's just giving us all the information we need. 325 grit, 45 micron for the coarse side. 1000 grit, 15 micron for the fine side. Straight edge, scissors, edge tools, pointed tools, monocrystalline diamonds, sharpening angle guide. Little picture doing some scissors on there. Showing off the work a little bit. Check out the box, the packaging. Here's the back. If you want to take a screenshot of that, check out whatever info you want to get off of the back of there. Boom. Mirror flat technology. Precision ground flatness within plus or minus 0.002 of an inch. Excellent. Okay, let's just get right in here, Kenman. Let's open this bad boy out and check it out. Got a little mat to keep it from rubbing or sliding across the table. They also sell some that have a little block that it sits in, kind of more of like a storage type of a block, but you can put a couple of them in there and then it helps kind of keep it from sliding around on the table. I think these also work fine. You just got to find a good surface to start with, get it on there, and then do your work. All right, there's the box on the floor. Set that over. Let me get this stuff over here kind of ready. I need all this there. Okay, it also comes with this little magnetic angle finder. So you've got, 14 degrees, 17, 20, 25. So depending on the angle that you want to use, this can help guide you. You can set that right on the top there. Get your blade up against it. know that's where that 14 is. I tend to figure out where it is with the blade itself, kind of go like this until you find where it is, and then you put that finger on the back, creating that angle, and then you just have to practice. Freehand sharpening is a little bit more tricky because you have to figure out that angle. Some people will use this guide and kind of help with it. I've found that over time you kind of get where that angle is. You just feel what you're doing and you get kind of used to it. It's something you have to kind of want to do, want to learn, kind of develop that skill, if you will, and I will. I've just always kind of preferred the freehand sharpening. There's some guided rail systems that work great. If you can afford one, you're going to sharpen a lot. I highly recommend it. If you want to get into some old school freehand sharpening, you know, maybe this might be the one for you. That Sharpal is a pretty good one. They have several different varieties. If you want to get different grits, there's one that's like a 200 and a 600 grit. I picked the 325 and the 1000, kind of a middle range. Before we get going on this stuff and kind of mess around a little bit, I want to show you what I use often is this Worksharp field guide sharpener, kind of hijacking the video really quick. I have a lot of knives. I'm a little different than others. Some people just have one knife that they use or just a few knives that they rotate through. And if you use that same knife every day, it's going to get more use, require a little more sharpening. I have hundreds of knives. I'm always reviewing knives. I'm testing out and carrying different knives on a regular basis. So on a daily regular, if I'm carrying this drop bear, I at work will maybe make 10, 20 different cuts throughout a day. And then the next day I'll carry something else and I'll make 10, 20 cuts. And I might not carry the drop bear again for several weeks or a month. So my actual deterioration of my edges doesn't happen as quickly as it does for other people. So I can do little light touch-ups and really get the screaming edge back. That's why I really like the Worksharp. It has a 200 grit side, a 600 grit side. You have a like 1000 grit ceramic rod, and then your strop on the back. It's small, it fits in a pocket or a small bag. It does give you a 20-degree angle guide on there to kind of help you when you're doing it. But this one, you can get in here and just make a few passes one way or the other, couple on there, maybe a couple strops, and you are good to go. And the way that I'm using my knives, if I do that, it only takes a couple of minutes for me to sharpen something. Now, if you have a knife you use and abuse, really beat it up, haven't sharpened it in a while, you might need to get into that 200 grit side and reprofile a little bit. Something small like this would require a little bit more work. That's why I was like, you know, let's jump in, let's get a bigger one. I have some older stones, but the older stones that I have are all old school, like whetstones. This is a diamond stone. And the neat thing about the diamond stones is you don't need the water. So you're basically just using this stone as is. You don't need that extra kind of help with the water, and it's more messy. So this is great. I'm excited to kind of mess around with this. They also have a 2x6 inch version. I decided to get the slightly larger one, just more surface area to work with. So there is, shows you 325 on this side, extra fine 1000 on that side. What do we think? So I would only use this 325 side if I need to do some reprofiling, fixing a chip or a nick in the blade, something like that. If you go in with a blade that's actually decent and not too dull yet, and you start using this side, you could actually end up making it less sharp than it currently is if you've already got it kind of has a good edge on it. So I would start off, you know, if it's you're just kind of doing some touch-ups with like 1000 and go from there. Let's go ahead and test this out. I don't really have any blades that I want to spend a fair amount of time on this video. We'll do some live streams where we're doing some sharpening, get into it more, a little more in depth. I do lives regularly, Thursday night, 6 p.m. Central, Monday and Tuesday, usually around 4 o'clock, Fridays around 4 or 5 o'clock. Saturday, I do a Saturday morning coffee at around 8 a.m. These are all Central Standard Time, so if you take that time and then switch it to wherever you are, You can tune in, check them out. But I plan on doing some more sharpening vids and hanging out and doing some sharpening live with some people. But for now, we'll go ahead and just give this little test. I'm not really going to do anything with this on this side today. But we'll put that 1000 side down. My drop air is a little dirty. You can see some scum and some stuff on there. Kind of wipe that down quick. Get that excess off there. When you're sharpening, you probably want to get rid of any residues and things that are on your blade. That could be stuff that could then transfer and then make your stone dirtier. So yeah, wipe that blade off. Make sure that's nice and good. We could do a little test cut here, but I already know this is going to be fairly sharp. You know, it's already there. Look at that little spiral. We keep the knives pretty good here. I didn't prepare myself and have a real dull knife. I've seen some people will go and take a blade and rub it sideways on a rock a few times and remove that edge and then re-profile it. But depending on how much you do that, you might just curl over that edge. You haven't really de-sharpenized the whole thing. It still kind of has it there. You just kind of redo that. And so I'm not really going to mess around with that. We're just going to take this. We're just going to get in here, get a little practice, little test with it. So this does have a thumb stud. So you want to keep that thumb stud from over here, because if I go like that, I'm resting on the thumb stud now. We don't really want to do that, because then you're going to scrape it. So we're going to kind of hold her at an angle here and then bring it through. So what I'll do is I'll bring it down to the blade. Now if I bring it flat, you can see the blade on this edge. You can't see it, but right here I can see there's a little shadow under there. So then you raise that up and you can feel when you get to that point. Might take a little practice, but there is an angle on there, whether it's a 20 degree or whatever it is when you get it. But if you kind of bring it down gently and just kind of raise it or lower it until you feel like you're in that position, then I'll put my index finger on there, creating an angle. And so now I can go like this. I can get my finger on there for that angle and just come through it like that. Now you have your tip. So when we're here and we're coming across, notice the tip is up. So you kind of will naturally rotate. I don't turn my wrist. I move my entire, you can't see my whole arm, but I'm not twisting like this. I'm moving my entire arm around to meet that blade tip. So we're going to find our angle. We're going to get here. We're going to bring it down and then just give it that slight rotation as we come through so that we're catching the end. So what I'm going to just do here is just a few passes. I'm not pushing too hard here. We're just kind of testing out, and I'm not really having to worry too much about my edge. Okay, I haven't touched this side yet. What we could do is, I kind of forgot that I have this thing. I picked this up. I'll put a link in the description. Check this out. Boom. If I can get the focus to show up on my screen. Showing a screen on a screen. There we go. See the edge? Now you've got that zoomed in. It's just a little magnifying glass. And you can see actually right there, I have a profile and then a little teeny profile right there. You can see that extra line that I might have made a pass not at the right angle. So you want sideways lines like this all the way up that little section. So if you notice that there, I have that little secondary section. I need to fix that. That might have happened when I was on that other one, just making a couple light passes. So these are kind of fun. It's just a little digital magnifying glass, so you can see that edge a little bit better. I'm thinking about getting a tabletop one so I can actually pop it up on the computer and we can kind of look at that edge as we're working it. So we were making passes here. Now we're going to go to the other side, do the same kind of a thing. Come up, but this time I'm going to use my thumb. I'm going to put my thumb right there and kind of rotate straight and then bring it around. Right? And what it is about patience. I've seen some people will come in and they will just go back and forth and keep it on there. Everybody has their own method. Some of them are better than others. Some of them might not be. Find the one that works best for you. What you'll learn is as you're doing it, you're either making your edge sharper or you're not. You know, and so if you go back and you can look at it, you can see whether or not you're doing good work, or if you're not at a good enough or at a high enough or a low enough angle that you're not doing the work that you need to do to remove just that little bit of material. All right, so this 1000 grit, I can tell it's not really, I should turn this back on. It's a fine. 1000 is pretty fine. So you see those edges right there? I know that's hard. I'm trying to focus this better. But they go straight. There's a little shadow there, but now they go pretty much all the way to the end. That's what we're looking for. Try the other side. And you can see that there's just a little bit on that edge there. I need to kind of go in just a little bit, couple more. So I am going to drop my angle just a little. All right, and that's kind of what we're looking for to do. Kind of make those passes. You get that angle where you want. You remove that burr. This isn't really a sharpening video. This is just kind of a, let's check this out. Otherwise, it'll get to be really long. Other thing is we got the strop. I want to get some better compound, so we're not really going to put any compound on here. I have this one here. You can see it's pretty caked up. I need to clean that up a little bit. But generally, you would put it, I like to go backwards, so I'd put it on this way and bring it back both sides. And what that's doing is that is kind of helping you remove that burr, continue to hone your edge. It looks like I kind of leaned in and kind of put a little scratch on there. That was me getting used to the stone going this way, and I caught it on the corner. And that's what happens sometimes, which is fine. Here we are. Okay. It was already sharp, but you can see we're still good. Boom. Let's do a nice long cut. Boom. There you go. So we've done it. Just a short video, not a crazy sharpening video. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Got a new Beavercraft strop with a couple types of leather on there. What compound do you use? Comment below. Let's talk about it. Anybody have one of these from Sharpal? I might get the other one that's like a 2 something and a 600 just to have some more. Although this one has 2 and 6, and it's, you know, I can kind of use these. But I like stones. I want to get some more of them for the collection and continue to have them to use. Which ones do you use for sharpening? Do you have free sharpening supplies, or do you use something with a rail guided system? Comment below. Let's discuss all things sharpening. Maybe you use old school whetstones, and that's great. Let's discuss. Good times. Love knives, especially sharp ones. Stay sharp. We'll see you soon.